What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Phil and Leroy the Judgmental Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is Phil on here.
And I'm Leroy. So what's going on, Phil?
Not much. Just getting ready for them Eagles. Was you watching the first game today? Are you watching that?
No, I forgot all about it.
Yeah, I was up early watching it. It's still on now.
So like Phil said, today we got the Eagles at home going against the Jacksonville Jaguars with our returning coach Doug Peterson. It's a home game for Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field. The Eagles are 6.5 point favorites, and the over and under is 43.5. So, what do you think about the 6.5 point favorites?
I think well, because they got a good defense, and Doug Peterson got them playing pretty good. Because usually that team is trash, but he got them
Mhm.
playing pretty good. So I think the Eagles will win by more than six, but that's cool. I had
Uh,
I had a total score of 45.
okay, so you have it over 43.5.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the injury fronts, Shaquille Griffin and Zay Jones for the Jaguars are questionable. I don't know if they're playing. For the Eagles, Avante Maddox is out with an ankle injury. And they said earlier this week that Boston Scott wasn't playing with a rib injury, but he's not listed in the injuries category. Well, he didn't practice none this week, so I don't know if he's playing or not. That's Boston Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have oh yeah, your boy is coming back to Philadelphia. Your boy you met on Wednesday, Tony Khan. He's coming back for his Jaguars on coming back for his Jaguars today, back in Philadelphia. So I don't know.
What you
That's
mean Metal Wednesday?
Tony Khan, the guy that was jumping up and down, that was doing the speeches after the matches was over with the curly hair.
Okay.
He the Khans. They own the Jaguars, and he works there. I don't know what his they have a soccer team also. He does the soccer team. He works for the Jaguars, and he does the all pro, all elite wrestling. I don't know what his title there for the Jaguars, but he'll be there. He's always he's always on the bench and everything. So yeah, I really don't have much to say other than Doug Peterson's coming back. I hope they run the ball since the weather isn't really all that good today here in
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia. So I hope they run the ball more than passing.
We say that every week, and sometimes they do, rarely, and most of the time they don't.
Right.
And
Uh,
like we
go.
always say, with their quarterback Lawrence being so young, you put pressure on them, you can disrupt their whole offense. So we need to bring that pressure like we did last week.
Right. Yeah. Bring the pressure and run the football more.
Right. And they quarterback and passing game is probably better than their running attacks. And they don't really have good runners, but they got good running backs. They just don't know how to use them yet.
Right.
So we'll
Right.
see.
So my prediction was 31-10 the Eagles. What's yours?
31-10.
Yes.
Uh I what did I have? I can't remember what I had. Like I think I had like 31-14, something like that.
Okay, so we closed then. All right, so I kind of blasted through this pregame show because I wanted to talk about Tua Tagovailoa injury. Um, Harvard Chris Nowinski was on the Dan Lebatard show. You know, Harvard Chris was a former pro wrestler and got the concussion, and I guess he went back to school and worked on worked. He's a neuroscientist now, and he worked on concussions and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And that's when he had contacted the doctor from Pittsburgh, the one that Will Smith portrayed in the
Mm-hmm.
concussion movie about working on concussions and stuff. So on a movie, Will Smith was like playing two characters because the doctor wasn't really into the concussion stuff. Chris Nowinski brought the concussion stuff to him, and he said, "Oh yeah, you might be right." And was like working on it with all that stuff, and they became together and
Mm-hmm.
doing that. So he's an advocate on concussions and everything, and he was on Dan Lebatard's show. I think this was Friday. So I'm gonna play it. It's 12 minutes. It's rather long. So I don't know if you want to listen to it all or not. If you want to just stop it, just say so. and I'll just stop it and we can just end it. So here's the interview with Chris Nowinski on Dan Labertard Show.
The big story of the night, obviously, in sports last night was Tua Tagovailoa going down in a way that made people really uncomfortable, seeing how violent football is, and his fingers splayed because it seemed like it was obvious after he was taken off on a stretcher that he had a concussion.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, everyone. Chris Nowinski had tweeted about Tua playing before the game started that something bad might happen since he had that concussion, or I mean back injury on Sunday.
Yeah, okay.
And it seemed also obvious that it was his second concussion in a couple of weeks, even though the Dolphins were saying it's a back injury. Chris Nowinski is the founding CEO.
Yeah, that was 4 days ago.
Exactly.
Well, 4 days from the game they played, of course.
Of the Concussion Legacy Foundation. He's a neuroscientist. He's an author. He's a speaker. He's a former wrestler, professional wrestler. And 6 hours before the game last night, he tweeted, "If Tua takes the field tonight, it's a massive step back for concussion care in the NFL. If he has a second concussion that destroys his career or season, everyone involved will be sued and should lose their jobs, coaches included." We all saw it. Even they must know that this isn't right. Obviously, that tweet went viral because you sent it before the game, and everybody was pretty disturbed by the visuals last night. So thank you for making the time. This is a bit of a cause for you, correct? Can you just take...
Everyone's disturbed about that image. I done seen that hit and them crinkle on hand fingers damn near 20 times. And that wasn't even from a sports broadcast. That was from like the regular news and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Take us through, before we get into what happened last night with Tua, just why this is such a personal cause to you.
Yeah, 19 years ago, after playing football at Harvard, I wrestled for the WWE and had a very bright future on Monday Night Raw. And I had a number of concussions, including 2 in a month, that at the time I didn't understand were concussions, so I didn't report them. But the second one in a month gave me permanent post-concussion syndrome, ended my career, changed my life, changed everything. And in trying to get better, I learned that everything we were doing about concussions in sports was wrong. And I made it my mission to change that. And, up until tonight or last night, I thought we were changing it.
Do you feel comfortable? Obviously, you feel comfortable diagnosing him based on the video you saw last week that the Dolphins are saying is back related, and the NFLPA wants more studying of the concussion protocol. Even though you're a PhD.
Personally, I think if a player is under concussion protocol, you should already just lose a game. You should automatically just not play the next week. Go ahead.
That is how it is.
No, because one of our players was on concussion protocol and they played the following game. I forget who it was.
It might have been a weekend, or maybe they had a day off, a bye week or something. You're supposed to miss like 11 or 12 games.
No,
days.
This was this season. I forget who it was. Somebody was on the
season and came right back.
Somebody was on the concussion protocol and they played the following game. Sure, I forget who it was. Oh, I'm positive. They was on the concussion protocol.
All right, well, find out and let me know, because I need to look into that too.
Can you make that distinction conclusively just watching a video?
So a concussion is diagnosed. It's a clinical diagnosis, but there are signs. You separate concussions into signs and symptoms. So when I had headaches, I didn't tell anybody about those were symptoms. But when you have obvious outward signs, you can actually diagnose concussion from video. But in this case, what he showed last week was grabbing his head when he hit the ground, which is a sign, and then getting up and taking 2 steps backward, which is a sign, then taking 2 steps forward and shaking his head like this, which is a classic clear the cobwebs for anyone who's ever had a concussion. And means you have a visual disturbance, which is 100% of the time a concussion. And then he fell, and then he had to be held up by his teammates. So when you put those 5 things together, I am certain he had 99.9999% certain he had a concussion. Let's go that far. And any doctor worth his salt assumes a concussion in that case, because you cannot rule it out either. He never should have gone back in the game. And then if he's your star player, he's never back in 5 days. Like, that's just end of story. Terrible management twice in 5 days that put him at horrible risk for what happened tonight, and hopefully who knows what happens from here. You can die from second impact syndrome when you have two of these hits in a week. You can have careers end. My career's ended. It's an embarrassment to everybody involved.
You're saying, as I mentioned, if he has a second concussion that destroys his season or career, everyone involved will be sued and should lose their jobs, coaches included. You know the climate of the NFL. You know the pressure to get back out there. Tell me what went wrong here, because you're saying there's no circumstance, and obviously we can play the result now, but you're saying there's no circumstance he should have been playing last night, that's an easy call from your living room.
Yeah, I mean, if you care about him as a human being, because he showed 5 signs of a concussion, one of which doesn't happen in any other circumstance, you can make this call. And what should have happened is that he should have been.
Jordan Mailata had a concussion on August the 4th, and he came back to practice on August the 9th. No, absolutely not.
You said practice. I'm talking about a game.
Yeah, but he's still, you practicing, so you still banging your head.
You can have somebody go light during practice. That's not the same as game speed.
You shouldn't suit up. Period. If you had a concussion, that's what I mean. If you have a concussion, you shouldn't suit up. Period.
No, you don't know what he did at practice though. They could have just had him do walkthroughs and just on his own shit. That's not the same. Right. That's not the same as the game.
No. If you have I guarantee you they're gonna change this now. If you under concussion protocol, you shouldn't even suit up. I bet you they'll change it now because you shouldn't be playing. You shouldn't be out in that type of position doing drills and everything after you suffer concussion anyway. Because all that bouncing, you can suffer it again.
Rested so that his brain could recover. And frankly, this is such a medical disaster that if I'm Tua and I recover from this, which is not guaranteed, I might say I don't want to play for this team anymore because what they did, like no doctor should have.
And Dr. Chris being a doctor, and I assume he has some type of money. He has some damn bad internet. But,
yeah, right. But I do agree right or wrong with him. Like, first off, even if Tua wanted to play, players always want to play. You expect your medical team and staff and stuff to like help protect you. And if they throw you out there to the wolves like that, then that shows they don't really care about you. So I'd be like trying to get the fuck away from the Dolphins.
Believed him when he said his back hurt. And just think about the other side of that. He never grabbed his back. He never gave any indication his back hurt from the video. So like we know players have been honest for years that they've lied about concussions. When a doctor's going to the field, they always say it's my knee, it's my ankle. They try to distract them. Any doctor should know this. This should not be happening in 2022. And we have to think about Tua as a human being. We have former NFL players developing CTE, dying by suicide. One concussion doubles your risk of suicide in the rest of your life. This is a disaster.
What can you tell me about the way that his fingers were splayed in front of his face, which is one of the things that disturbed people so much, seeing what was obviously the inability to control hands that were frozen?
Yeah, so I'm assuming that this was a result of the fencing posture. So the fencing posture is rare, and it's a sign of a serious brain injury where your arms, one or two, are stuck straight out when you're unconscious.
The boxing joint.
And it means that your brainstem is involved in the injury. So there could be something else, but it looks like that. It rarely comes down to the hand. I mean, the hands are a little bit like that, but his look really awkward and troubling. So it's some sort of convulsion. I don't necessarily think it was a seizure based on my discussions with medical doctors, but I'm not certain. But it's a disaster.
Prime Video reported last night that he was discharged and was expected to travel back with the team. You also said after seeing what happened, fire the medical staffs and coaches. That is something that never happens. Like, I understand why you're saying that, but you know good and well that that's not one of the possibilities here.
No. I mean, I understand that there'll probably not be any.
Now, is it the medical staff or the coaching?
Both, just like this doctor said.
So you think that the brother coach should get fired?
Yeah, I think because, well, it goes deeper because he was fucked up last week on Sunday, then turn right back around on Friday and get another concussion, that's way too fast. And if you cared about your players, you wouldn't even have put them in. You wouldn't have sat there and said it was his back when everybody clearly they knew it wasn't his back.
Okay, but wonder if the brother coach said something, asked the medical personnel about it, and they said, "Oh yeah, he's okay, he can play." So and the coach can put him in. So how is that the coach fault when the medical staff is the and should be on the front line on that type of situation?
You still the coach, and you know your players. This coach is saying that he treated him like his son, and he looks at him like his son. So if that was your son, you still gonna put him in after that?
The young brother coach said that.
Whoever the coach is now,
The brother, they just met. This is his first year. So how is
right?
that he
But
like a son to him?
so because they got real close, because the last coach wasn't a Tua fan. He didn't like
No.
Tua. He wanted to get rid of Tua. So they're saying this new coach, him and Tua became real close, real tight, and he looks at Tua like his son.
And this guy's like in his 30s. So how the hell how the hell is Tua is his son? Like a son to him. And you already know he full of shit.
Maybe, I don't know. How old is Tua? 23 or something like that?
Mike McDaniel is who I'm talking about, the brother. That's the one that's supposed to be like a quarter black. After that Brian Flores situation,
Mm-hmm.
they hired him and they said like, "Oh, you hired a white guy," and he said, "No, he's like a quarter black." That's why I keep calling him the brother.
Okay. Yeah, no,
Uh,
that's what they said. I don't know much about the dude,
he
but they
he's
said
30. He's 39.
and how old is Tua? Like 23, 24?
Let me see. Tua is 24. You have it.
Okay.
So that's like
It's
a
close.
Sunday.
It's close because there's 15-year-olds having babies now.
uh,
Punishment, sadly, for the people who put him out there. But I'm letting people know that I believe there should be. Like, you just cannot mess with someone's life and their future like this. And so I don't. I can't imagine a patient trusting the doctor who made that call. I don't know who it is. I don't care. And then the coaches should know better. Like, I think even if you don't want to believe that it's a concussion, to put your star quarterback in the future franchise who's having an amazing season at risk of losing his season in week 4, because when you can tell as a coach he had a concussion, is just like the most strategically ridiculous choice to ever make in the world. And so when the Dolphins maybe lose him for the season and they lose games like this, a coach should have been able to step in and say, I don't want to play it. Like, it was that obvious to the public
Exactly.
that without medical.
no, I don't. I like half agree because, like I just said, this is a young coach. This is his first time being a head coach in the league. 39 years old. Do he have the power to do stuff like that when the higher ups will
Yes.
tell him? No, I don't
Yes.
think so.
I
Well,
think you
hell,
do.
Doug Peterson didn't even say shit to Carson Wentz when he was changing plays and doing a whole bunch of bullshit like that.
They said he did, and that's why Carson Wentz didn't like him because he was coming at
Then
his
why he
neck.
still kept changing the plays then?
Because once the game starts, you can do whatever. I mean,
No,
shit.
then why he don't sit your ass down if you keep changing my plays? And then
I
you
think
say that
I
then you say
think
that
I
Carson that Jeffrey Lurie was Jeffrey Lurie and
adopt Carson Wentz. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you don't you
So
think that
so they had more invested in Carson Wentz than they had in their coach, and that's why they rolled with the coach. I mean the Carson Wentz.
hmm well that just proved
Remember,
with him.
remember when Carson Wentz, after he had all that beef and he wasn't even talking to the coach. What kind of shit is that? Your head coach don't even talk to your quarterback or vice versa.
Right.
But then he made a demand at the end of the season. Either the coach go or I go. They got rid of the coach, and then he turned around a couple weeks later and said, "You know what? I still want to leave."
Yeah, so like I said,
No, what they
some
need.
people in the league, some coaches in the league don't have that type of power. Bill Belichick, of course, he does,
No,
but
what they need independent doctors at these games. That way, they're not leaning towards one team or the other. And if those doctors can say like this player can't play after a hard hit or concussion, then that's the decision that's being made, regardless of what the team doctors say. Because the team doctor probably just saying whatever they want to say just to keep their player in the game.
right. But didn't it wasn't it an independent doctor who it was a National Players Association doctor that okayed him to play. There
this
wasn't a
game.
team doctor. Yeah, it wasn't a team doctor.
Right. So I'm talking about the first concussion. When he got up and then he fell to his knees, they should have had an independent doctor at the game that looked at him and said,
No, that was the Sunday game. The NFL Players Association exercised its right to remove the independent neurological expert who was involved in the decision to clear Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa to return to the game last Sunday after being evaluated for a head injury, according to a person familiar with the matter. So they had an independent doctor there. Well, he was a union doctor, but he wasn't on one team or the other. Well, he was on team NFL, but he wasn't on one team or the other. But he okayed him to play, and now they want to get rid of him.
well, what I'm saying is have somebody that, I guess, somebody that's not hired by the NFL, but like, I don't know what you call it when you, they're independent. So of course they're getting a check from the military, from the NFL, but they're not like on a regular paycheck by the NFL. You know what I mean? Kind of hard
Right.
to explain. So that way is really no ties there, because even if you look at the big picture, this guy, even though he's independent, but he's hired or works for the NFL, the NFL is still trying to make money. So he could be still trying to help the NFL make money, not caring about people's health.
Right.
Training should know better.
Can you explain to us the second impact syndrome? Can you explain to us the dangers of what you're talking about there, that you were saying he shouldn't play because that could happen?
Yeah. So second impact syndrome is when, for some reason, after a concussion that hasn't resolved, usually the next week or two, an athlete who's hiding symptoms will take another blow to the head and cause rapid swelling of their brain. And if they don't get taken to a hospital and their skull taken off for the swelling, 50% die, 50% recover, 90% are changed for the rest of their life. So that's the most catastrophic outcome. But then now we just have to worry about if he's gotten past the window where he could die. Now we just have to worry about, is he going to have 15 years of headaches like me that prevent him from ever going back on the field, or is he going to be lucky and be not have chronic symptoms? But even then, think about, like we in America, I was just in Australia where they still put players back into a season after 3 concussions, and I made the point, we don't do this in America anymore. It's, a guy gets 2 concussions in the season, a third one could ruin their career. You don't put them back in. So I don't see how you put them back in the season, and unless they're going to keep trying to claim that he never had a concussion last week. But
Now, do you agree with that? Is he out for the season?
I wouldn't say he's out for the season, but he's definitely going to miss at least like 3 games, at least, just to make sure he's straight. 3 to 4 games.
Okay.
this should be season ending. If
I think with all this press and all that stuff, they're going to sit him out for the rest of the season. And it's bad though, because he's like on his last legs there. Like you said, I think it's best for him to get out of Miami also, which you had mentioned before earlier. Because he was having a good year for him. Yeah. But no, all this stuff, all this controversy and stuff going on, it ain't just the people in sports. It's like I said, they've been showing them crinkled fingers. Every news show I looked at, they've been showing them crinkled fingers. I didn't seen it like 20 times. And that wasn't from sports. So I don't think they will let him play this year. Even though he might be ready, like you said, he might be okay and everything, but with all this controversy, nah.
I think if he have like a whole month of no contact, a month would be like 4 games. Right. You know what I mean? That should be enough time to then evaluate him and see if he can go. And if there's an inkling that he's still not right, then fucking shelf him for the season.
We care about Tua's future.
I doubt very much that it will be a season ending. Your language here, I would say, is incendiary. You are saying things more extreme than most when you write on Twitter, you guys should go to jail for letting him play 5 days after an obvious concussion you covered up. If he dies from second impact syndrome, I'm pushing for murder charges. You are saying, I'm not hearing anyone speaking this extremely from the medical community, but this is also something that's emotional and personal to you because of what you've endured, correct?
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily speaking from the medical community. That's me as somebody who's lived through this and knows that it doesn't have to be this way. Saying that medical staffs and teams have to take responsibility for people's lives. That's their job. And so when you make a colossal mistake like this, there needs to be responsibility. Like, again, I'm yelling before the game and all week, don't play him. He could die. If he died, I think the legal, the legal world looks into this, because medically he should not have been out there.
But no one thinks this way. No one thinks he's going to die. This is not.
That's the problem. That's literally the problem, that no one thinks by making this mistake he could die.
And he's telling the truth right there.
Right.
And that's why you have to raise this. Like, if you put someone out there and he dies because you made the wrong choice, somebody's got to take responsibility for that.
Beyond that, I don't believe that many people other than you will be saying he's got to be out for the season. You understand that this is sort of baked into the violence, of the sport, that it seems to me that even with their concussion protocols, that they're behind on how it is to treat this stuff.
The problem is, like, I think we've taken a step back, and we're not conservative anymore, because we haven't seen these outcomes in a few years where we screwed up somebody so badly because we made such a callous decision. So I think I'm trying to draw attention to this and as a line in the sand to say, please, for God's sake, don't let this happen again. I've been doing this for now 15 years. And I will tell you, I spent the beginning of this week visiting the widow of one of my college teammates who died with CTE. And he played in the NFL. And I this is not the week to mess around on this issue. I see what happens down the line of these guys, and no one's gonna, no one else is gonna say anything. I'll say it. We got to treat this thing like a life or death issue, or else people are gonna die.
Can you explain to me the damages of 2 concussions in 5 days, if indeed he has 2 concussions in 5 days?
When the brain's not allowed to, so when you have a concussion, a neurometabolic cascade of concussion occurs. A lot of things happen in the first few minutes, but still you have chemical and metabolic changes that last for days, weeks usually. And so it's basically an energy crisis in your brain. And if you bring that energy crisis in twice in a week, you're taking brain cells that were recovering and you're killing them. And so you're talking about permanent brain damage and cell death from 2 injuries at a time, where all these, what you would have recovered from, you're no longer recovering from.
And if I tell you he will be on a field again in a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you say that's irresponsible?
If he's on the field within a month, we need to give up on the NFL completely. I mean, at least a month after what we've seen the last 2 weeks. Like, I don't care who you are, and frankly, it should be the whole season.
Chris, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate your dedication to this cause, sir. Thank you for making the time.
Thank you, Dan.
All right, that was it.
All right, so one of the doctors that I work for, that's a big football fan, he was saying that it was so bad that he felt bad for the player, and he felt bad that he was a fan of the NFL. He wanted to turn it off, and he was like, if Tua would have been permanently damaged from that, he would have never watched football again.
Well, we don't know if he's permanently damaged or not.
Well, he meant like when they rushed him to the hospital, like if he wouldn't have like had control of his limbs and his fingers and shit. Because remember, they said he strapped him in and they took him in, and then he did have control of his his extremities and stuff.
Right.
But the way he was talking to the doctor, I could tell like he really felt some type of way about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is the longest Eagles pregame show that we've had, because it's normally like 5 minutes. I
mean, a concussion and then 5 days later another concussion is crazy. That's just crazy to me. You ever have a concussion?
No.
I think I had 2 before, but they were like 10 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crazy when it happened to me. Like one time I was painting on a job, and I had to go under a crawl space, and it was weird to me that I had to crawl in and out of this crawl space, but once I crawl in, it opens up where I can stand up.
Right.
So I'm like, why the hell am I painting in here? Only thing they're going to use is just spaces for maybe storage. But I kept crawling in and out, and then I came up too fast coming out, and I hit the back of my head, and it was like a shock went through my whole body, and I was like dizzy. You ever remember them cartoons where you had like the stars and the Tweety birds on your head?
Yes.
I had that type of shit going on, and I tried to stand up, and I was like 2 of that first joint. I went back down. I was like, oh shit, and I just sat there. So then when my boss came on and was talking to me, his name Luke. He like, yo, you all right? I was like, yo, my head is pounding right now and I'm dizzy. I can't even stand up. He was like, well, just take a break right there. And I just like chilled for a while before I like got myself together. So I can imagine doing that in 5 days from each other. Like, that's crazy.
Right, right. Well, we'll be back at halftime. I don't know. Did the hurricane cross Jacksonville?
I don't know. I know
I don't know.
Florida's all tore up.
Yeah, so I guess we'll find somebody if we can. I don't know, but we'll be back at halftime.
All right.
Eagles!
Okay, it's halftime. Philip is not here. He'll be back with us on the post game show. The Eagles is winning 20-14. Some quick stats. Trevor Lawrence is 5 for 11, 75 yards, 1 touchdown. Rushing, we have Robinson, 7 rushes for 26 yards. Travis Etienne is 4 carries for 14 yards. On the receiving, we have Agnew, 3 receptions, 42 yards, 1 touchdown. And Arnold, 1 reception for 26 yards. On the Eagles side, we have Jalen Hurts, 10 for 15, 127 yards, 1 interception. Rushing, we got Miles Sanders, 14 carries, 58 yards. Jalen Hurts, 9 carries for 30 yards. And Kenneth Gainwell had 1 carry for 10 yards, and that was the touchdown that ended the second half. Receiving, we have A.J. Brown, 3 receptions, 62 yards. Dallas Goedert, 3 receptions for 41 yards. They listened to the Phil and Leroy, the Judgmental podcast, and we told them to run. They started getting pass happy early, but towards the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, they started running the football, and you see what happened. Now they're winning when they were down by 14 points. So you got to start running the football. And this weather, the ball is slippery, as you see what happened with Trevor Lawrence. The ball is slippery. The wind is blowing. You can't be throwing the football down the field. You gotta start running the football in this weather. And as you see, when they started running the football, they moved the ball down the field. I mean, it's not rocket science. That's simple. Second half, they need to continue to run the football, continue with their defense pressure on Trevor, and I guess they kind of can stop Jaguars rushing. And yeah, just keep running the football. They can't stop you. They can't stop you running the football. And I would like to see our rookie get some more carries. Trey Sermon, he needs more carries because he looked good on a run that he had. Continue giving him the football. All right, y'all. We'll be back. We'll be back at halftime. Philip will join us. I talked to a couple of people from Jacksonville or Jacksonville Jaguar fans. No one replied to me yet, so we'll see if we have someone joining us. And we'll be back on a post-game show. All right, we back. Eagles won 29-21. Some quick stats. We have on the Jacksonville side, we have Trevor Lawrence, 11 for 23, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions, and how many fumbles? He fumbled the ball 4 times.
Jesus Christ.
We got rushing. We got ETN, 3 rushes, 32 yards. On receiving, we got Kirk, 2 receptions, 60 yards. And was that a touchdown? No. He didn't get a touchdown. There was Agnew with 4 receptions for 50 yards for 2 touchdowns. On the Eagles side, we got Jalen Hurts, 16 for 25, 204 yards. No TDs, 1 interception. We got rushing. We got Miles Sanders, 27 carries, 134 yards. Hurts, 16
2
carries.
touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, yes. You got Hurts, 16 carries for 38 yards. On receiving, we have A.J. Brown, 9 receptions for 95 yards, and Goddard, 5 receptions for 72 yards. Bad first quarter. bad first quarter with some shitty play calling. They got it right at the end of the first quarter, beginning of the
It's
second.
funny because when you text me about that shitty play calling, I was texting you the exact same thing. So our texts like fucking popped up right next to each other.
Mm-hmm. They started running the football, which is good. We were saying run the damn football. This weather with this wind, why the hell you think you can pass the football down the field like that? And
I
when
told you.
Jalen Hurts got that pick six, I said, good. That's just what you needed. That's just what you get for throwing the football like that. Why would you do that?
These guys always think they're the smartest person in the room. Common sense say when it's bad weather, is wet, you run the ball. You don't force the issue in the air. You
Right.
got wind, you got the ball being slippery with people dropping it or just the ball slipping out of the quarterback hand. Like you said, my man fumbled 4 times, Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
That's because the ball's slippery. So why is you still trying to throw it?
Uh-huh. Well, somebody else say because they were losing.
Oh, please.
You had a 14-0 lead. Why you just when the Eagles scored the 7 points, why weren't you just running the football? That's what I would have did.
Yep.
All right, so what are your thoughts on the game?
It was a good game. The defense stepped up because the offense, it took them a while to get it rolling, to realize, you know what I mean, just run the goddamn ball because they can't stop us. It's good to see Miles Sanders get some carries because he hardly ever get any touches like that. 27, I can't tell you the last time he got 27. But it didn't say career high in touches, so he must have got 27 or more before. But I never see him get more than like 16 to 18 touches.
Right.
And
Less
then,
than that.
yeah. And then it was a good game, you know what I mean? Weather being bad, we played pretty good. I would have liked to see Devontae get some more looks.
Right. It was somebody on Twitter. Well, he talked to me on Facebook, and he think it's a problem that the Eagles don't score in the second half. I said no, it's not. Nothing's wrong with them. They're not a go for the kill type of team. They never was. See me, I'm gonna put up as much points as I can.
Right. So the doctor, when we talked about it, he said we might be in trouble because it's 2 weeks in a row we ain't scoring the second half. I said if you put enough points up in the first half, that's all right.
Right.
As long as your defense plays solid and they playing catch up, it's all right.
That's what we do.
Right.
That's what we do. We always just sit back. They'll score enough and sit back and just run out the clock pretty much.
Yep.
No, it ain't. They don't have a problem with scoring in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tweeted today, "Oh, it's about time they scored in the second half. They have no problem scoring the football."
He sound like a hater. We're one of the top 5 teams in scoring. So what? So would we need to be number 1 so we can score in the second half?
I guess so.
Like now, if you kicking somebody's team in the first half with points, and then you got your quarterback dropping back and get hurt, they're gonna look at you like you crazy. Why are you throwing the ball in the second half if you got a lead like that?
Yep. Uh-huh. So hopefully this game shows them that they have to run the football, keep a more balanced offense. They probably go back. They probably go back past happy next week.
Right.
They probably go back to passing it. So next week, speaking of next week, we have the Eagles going against the Arizona Cardinals. What are your thoughts on this game, Phil?
The Cardinals got weapons, but they haven't been able to put it together. So I think we can beat them, but this might be our first L if they put it together. Our quarterbacks are pretty much similar. I mean, our quarterback is throwing a little bit better than their quarterback right now, but their quarterback got more time in the league and usually been, a longer stretch of playing at a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they got receivers. They don't really got no running game, but they got deep receivers. Defense is okay. Our defense is better than okay. Our defense is pretty good right now. So, I think we can win. I think it'll be a close one, but I can see us also taking our first L with a close one.
Okay. So, you predicting the Eagles lose, huh?
Well, I'm going to cheer for us to win, but if we're going to lose, this will probably be the time right now. Shit, what they say, since 2004, we ain't start off 4-0?
Right. Hopefully we'll speak to our boy Ryan Gutierrez, a Cardinals fan, next week. This week we had someone that was supposed to come on with us, Jacksonville fan, but they didn't show. I can understand why, because if you're a Jacksonville Jaguar fan. What else you got to talk about?
Did you see the brother in the crowd that they zoomed in on cursing and slamming the thing?
Yeah, you've been cursing the team for damn near 10 years. Like, why would you get upset that they lost? I mean, they used to losing.
Mm-hmm.
we can joke and stuff like that because back in the day we couldn't, because that was our team and shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I told Shay. I said, because she said they bums. I said, well, they playing pretty good this year. They got a good defense, a young offense. Their coach Doug Peterson, our old boy, got them playing pretty good. So they're not like the shitty team they've been for the last couple of years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't have anything else much to talk about. Do you?
Nah.
Yeah, it was a good one, good comeback one, and it goes to show you that they can come back. But if they would have stuck with the shit that we told them about before the game started, they wouldn't have been down 14 points.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said that defense bailed us out, because they put the clamps on, start getting that ball back for us. I think like 2 or 3 of those possessions we got the ball back like inside the 50, so it helps the offense right there.
Right.
I think the coach still gambles too much, because even with that last possession, why you ain't just kick the field goal?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's when I text you about.
Yep.
Yeah, even though they did score.
No. I'm talking about the last possession. We didn't score in the last one. They stopped us on downs.
Oh.
But
Okay,
that shit was like a 30-yard field goal.
Yeah, but they said because of the wind was going against them. That's why they did.
Please. He just hit like a 45-yarder though.
But he was
the
going
other side of the field.
Yes. That was in the third quarter. That was because that was that roughing the kicker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the end of the third quarter, and they took the penalty for the fourth quarter. So they weren't going against the wind then. So that's why they said they wouldn't go forward. They didn't kick a field goal. That's the reason why they went forward, because he was going against the wind. But like you said, a 30-yard kick, that's not really that far.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. We got producer of the drill Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., hosted by Dan Hickerson and Mike Prosser. Hopefully I pronounced his name right.
No, you butchered their name, man. Hosted by Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Oh, I said Prosser. All right, there we going from Jaguars today, 10 a.m. to noon, with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony Smith on 1010XL. That's 1010 a.m. and 92.5 FM on your radio dial. Here we go. We got Mr. E.T. How you doing, Mr. E.T.?
What's good, homie? How you doing, man?
I'm good. Now, I saw the video of you cussing. My thing is, what the hell? You should be used to this, right?
Man, don't like like every day is a new day, man. Every day is a new day. So like, and I just have hope in my boys, man. Like, you know, but they just disappoint me all the time. So that's just who I am. I'm a diehard.
Okay, now how did you? What was your thoughts of the game?
I ain't gonna lie, we opened up strong. We had a 14-0 lead. I already thought we were going to win. So you know, I was gonna start tweeting. I was gonna start tweeting crazy. You know, this the best team. This is supposed to be the best team. This, that, and third. But I knew better. You know what I'm saying? It was still early. I think we were up 14-0 in the first quarter. There was still three quarters left. And sure enough, one thing about it, sometimes Jaguars are going to Jaguar. And, you know, although I do think this is a new time and a new age, but we still have some of our same ways, man. And we find ways to lose games. And when Trevor turns the ball over 5 times, there's no way you're going to win. Well, the odds are slim to none.
Yeah, don't get discouraged of the game, because it's not the team. Well, the team did play bad, but you know, it's raining here and it's windy. So what they should have did when they have that 14-0 lead, okay, and the Eagles scored and they got the ball back, what they should have did is start a run game, just like how the Eagles did. You can't throw the football down the field on this weather. You can't. The quarterback can't hold the football like this during this weather, because he'll turn it over. And that was the problem right there. So you can't say it was the team did bad. It was like the weather really messed you up. And they didn't change their game plan for the weather. like the Eagles
Well, I
did
won't say.
when.
I didn't say the team. I don't say the team did bad.
Mhm.
We lost for one reason and one reason only. Let's be real. Trevor lost us that game.
No,
The team played well. Well, they played well enough to win. Trevor turned the
no.
ball. My man, Trevor turned the ball over 5 times.
I get it. That's
Trevor,
because of the weather, though.
the Eagles had to play in the same weather, bro.
And
The
they
Eagles
ran the
played in the same
football.
weather.
Their
Okay,
running back had 27 carries.
my man, Trevor couldn't even get the snap off. He was fumbling the snap. He was dropping the ball. He was fumbling. Bro, Trevor lost us the game. He fumbled 4 times. What are you talking about? He
So
fumbled the ball 4 times.
so your
Did you
running
watch the
back,
game?
yeah,
He
your
couldn't.
running back.
He can't. If you can't get the running back the ball, Trevor fumbled the ball 4 times. Four
Oh,
times.
okay, so your running back had 8 carries. You don't think that's a problem?
My man, the problem was Trevor fumbled the ball 4 times.
Okay, okay, I give you that one. That's one. The second one is your running back having 8 carries.
Okay, but my man, Trevor turned the ball over 5 times. How, like when you turn the ball over and the other team is scoring, you can't just run the ball. You can't.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can if you have a 14-0 lead.
At that point, we weren't up 14-0. We were up 14-0.
No.
Like, all right, man. All right.
No, I just can't. I can't put it all on Trevor. It was just bad game planning. When, like I said, the Eagles look, the Eagles at the first quarter, was some shitty football for the Eagles. At the end of the first quarter, the beginning of the second quarter, they started running the football, and look what happened. They was moving the football down the field. Now you had our quarterback threw a pick six. They at
Yeah,
the end of the first quarter,
the first drive, like early in the game, bro, y'all threw a
exactly.
pick six,
Yeah,
and
because
that was the only turnover that they had, man. Come
he had
on.
no business throwing the football down the field like that anyway. That's what I'm trying to say. At the end of the first
So
quarter, beginning of the second quarter, they started running the football, and look what happened. You lost. That's
right,
why.
we lost because we. So Trevor not turning the ball over 5 times is not the reason we lost.
That's one of the reasons. But like I said,
Okay,
you have a running back that only have 8.
My man, that's the primary reason we lost because Trevor turned the ball over 5 times. Mind you, I'm a big fan of Trevor. I'm a big
Mhm.
fan of Trevor. However, when your quarterback turns the ball over 5 times, now it wasn't the team turning the ball over 5 times. Trevor turned it over 5 times. And when your quarterback turns it over 5 times, you're not going to win the game. Because especially when the opposing team is scoring off of those turnovers, you're talking about some run the ball, bro.
Mhm.
You can't just run the ball if you're down. Like you have to throw the ball. You have to. I understand that the weather played a role, and that's why Trevor probably turned the ball over 5 times. The ball was slipping out of his hand. He couldn't hold on to it. However, at the end of the day, he turned the ball over 5 times due to the weather. Sure, the same weather that the Eagles played in. However, the Eagles were able. The quarterback, y'all's quarterback, didn't fumble the ball 4 times, did they?
They
Did
ran
they?
the football. They ran the
No,
football though.
but did your quarterback fumble the ball 4 times?
He didn't fumble
He
the football, but
exactly because he
he
was
ran.
able to hold on to the. He was able to hand the ball off to his quarterback. There
Mhm.
was a time where Trevor couldn't even get the snap because he fumbled it. Did you see that game? Are we watching the same game? There
Yes,
was a
but
time when Trevor rolled out. There was absolutely nobody out when he was running the football. He fumbled. It wasn't forced. He fumbled. Like, were you watching that game?
ETN had eight carries for 32
Here you go.
yards. Wait a minute.
Okay,
Wait,
here you
wait,
go
whoa,
to
hold on. Let me finish. You got ETN had 8 carries for 32 yards. He averaged 4 yards a carry. So he can run the football, right? Yes or no?
Sure, absolutely, he can run the
Okay,
football. Him
so
and
but
James Robinson. So the reason. So
right.
wait. Let me ask you a question real quick.
Uh-huh.
So we lost the game because we didn't run the ball.
That's one of the reasons, yes. When you got a 14-point lead and it's weather, yes.
You wanted to run the ball the entire game because we're up 14-0 in the first
Well,
quarter.
damn, the Eagles did it. The Eagles pretty much did that.
How many passing attempts did your quarterback have?
25.
Okay, 25. So, and how many rushing attempts did they have as a team?
Rushing attempts. Oh my goodness, that's
Like 50? Like 50?
no, it's more like hold on, that's it's close to 50, like 47, 48.
So let's call
Yeah.
it 50. So let's take away his 25 passing attempts. Like, you think they would win the game if they ran the ball 75 times, bro?
No,
No,
they
you have to
ran the
throw the
ball.
ball, bro.
He threw the ball when he had to. Right?
Oh, all right, man. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So next week, who the Jaguars play next week?
The Texans.
All right, now what's your thoughts on that game?
We're still a team that's learning how to win and learning, just how to play together. It's a brand new team. It's a brand new roster. And it's a division game. And the Houston Texans, they're not playing bad. Not as bad as I thought that they would be playing this year. So, and we really don't know who we are. Trevor's coming off of a tough game. He might be in his head. Ain't no telling what's going to happen next week. So, I'm not going to mark a W in the win column for next week. Absolutely not.
Okay. So, don't be that hard, man. Hey, look, you cussing and hollering. I mean, you do that every week, right?
All that's for show, man. That's just show.
I know. I'm joking around with you, but y'all, you used to losing. I mean, can one game get you that upset?
Man, listen, bro. Relax. As far as used to losing, that is something that we're accustomed to here in Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. However, that doesn't mean I can't have high hopes. I don't go in a game thinking that we're going to lose. Honestly, where are you based out of? Philly?
Yes.
All right. I can't. Y'all do have a Super Bowl, and I'd say that y'all are a winning franchise. However, I'm regardless of our past, I'm never going to go in a game expecting to lose. I'm going to. We're not going to lay down as a team and as a fan. I'm not going to just sit here and lay down. So I expect my team to go out and play in hopes of winning. So what do you want me to do? Just all right, well, we're going to lose. That ain't me. There are people like that, but it's not me.
Right. Well, the Eagles has been bad for years, so this is our time where we get to do this, where we get to make fun of.
Y'all won a Super Bowl like 2 years ago, man. Relax.
Oh, that was before. Yeah, that's what I mean. But you don't remember before those years, all the crap that we had to deal with.
I don't follow Eagles football, but I'm sure it hasn't been as bad as the Jaguars.
Not as bad, but it was pretty bad. Hey, look, we won 4 games last year. No, the year before last, before we went to the playoffs. Doug Peterson's last year. We won 4 games that year. So yeah, y'all have a good coach. Y'all have a good coach. Trevor Lawrence isn't a bad quarterback. Good wide receivers there. The defense is pretty good. Your defense isn't bad at all. So you can't really don't be that down on them that bad. But
it's just one game, man, and it was although even with the 5 turnovers, I still think that we had chances to win. And again,
yes.
Trevor turned the ball over. Regardless of you could say the weather, whatever you want to blame it on. At the end of the day, our quarterback turned the ball over 5 times, and I don't think you can win a football. The chances to win a football game when you turn the ball over 5 times is slim to none.
True. Agreed. Before we carry on, how's you and your family? Did you get into the hurricane over there?
Appreciate you for asking. No, everything's fine over here. Unfortunately, where I'm at, we weren't hit too hard. However, folks of South Florida, mainly Fort Myers, they were hit real bad, and they need a lot of people. Would need y'all's thoughts and prayers, because these are things that aren't easy to deal with, and they're not things that you can control.
Right. So the other host, Philip couldn't be able to be on here. I was trying to get us to audition for your one of your spots on your radio show. Mm-hmm. We'll get to our show. Will be us get to laugh at Jaguars fans. So
yeah, hey, I mean, there's not much I can say. We took an L. I'm not sure how far you would have made on any of my shows, but.
So there's a video of you you were running up and down the stadium, Arena Football League. Is that Arena Football where you were at?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was that recent?
That was earlier this year, yeah.
Oh, okay. So they still do Arena Football. I thought that was done with, because we don't have a team here anymore.
Yeah, no, Arena Football is still alive and well. That's the Jacksonville Sharks. Shout out to the Sharks. I'm the on-field MC for the Jacksonville Sharks. So
Oh, okay.
whatever video you're referencing of me in an arena running around, it's just me doing what I'm doing, just spreading energy and making sure that people enjoy their experience. I try to give folks the ultimate fan experience.
Now, this is the AFL.
The NIL, I believe. No, or it could be the AFL. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, I used to always was a fan of arena football. I like the video game, and I always like going to arena football. I always had fun there. I
Yeah,
always
they're
had fun to go to
definitely
arena
fun.
football games.
They're definitely fun games.
Hmm. Yeah, so thanks for joining us, Mr. ET. Can you give us your social media?
I'm on Twitter at I am E to the T, and on Instagram at E to the T. Man, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure going back and forth with you about why Trevor Lawrence lost us the game.
Yeah, give us a shout out on your radio show and tell them that you can't really blame Trevor Lawrence. It's more on the weather, and bring up how your running back only had 8 damn carries, but he averaged 4 yards a carry.
Right, but y'all played in the same weather. But all right, gotcha.
And he ran, and our running back had 27 carries.
Right.
So what that tell you?
Gotcha.
And you had a lead, and you could have ran
Gotcha.
a football.
Gotcha. It's easy to say that from the winning perspective, bro. But yeah, you got it.
No, we was losing. No, well, listen, I'm gonna send you the podcast right now. We on this podcast we do a pregame, a halftime, and a postgame. The pregame show, Philip and I said that how they needed to run the football. Halftime, I mentioned about running the football on the halftime. The same thing. You'll see it. I mentioned that we already talked about running the football because the Eagles have a problem with getting real pass happy. That's the Eagles' problem. Get real pass happy and don't utilize the running game. And the thing about the running game is they have a good Miles Sanders have a good yards per carry average. So we always say why you're not using them if you have a good yards per carry average. So we'll mention stuff about the run game on here before the game even started.
I mean, anybody who knows football understands that when there's inclement weather, you run the football. Anybody who knows football understands.
Yes.
So I mean, like that's a moot point.
All right, Mr. ET. Also, give a shout out to all your radio hosts, and give a shout out to the Cons because the Jaguars is one of my favorite sports franchises because I like all elite wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So, based out of Jacksonville, also. So, all right,
again,
Mr.
thanks for having me.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, all right, y'all. You can reach us on Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok at PNL Judgementals, Instagram at _Judgementals, or you can email us at pnljudgementals@gmail.com. Also, everyone, we are on YouTube. Search PNL Judgementals, and we should come up. So, yeah, we are on. Did I say Twitter or YouTube?
You said YouTube.
All right, YouTube. Yeah, we are on YouTube. I always forget to mention that we're on YouTube. So, you can reach us on YouTube also. Our episodes will be there, other than the music episodes, because that's Spotify exclusives. But everything else, you can listen to it on YouTube also. So, all right, Phil.
All right. Peace out.